Hello, me. Hi. I can actually see things going up and down in the application for microphone called GarageBand. Are we live?
Yeah, we are.
Amazing. Hello, dear comrades. Today we're gathered, and you might be wondering why. And the answer to this question is simple. Bullying. So I can be on this beautiful podcast because I love attention and talking. You bring the best in me. Oh, you cheap ass. You film it on your phone. You have two Wi-Fis and you film it on your phone.
I do, yeah. This is also me. What's your phone background? Is it of you?
The what?
What's your phone background?
My phone background is black. My babies are rare. Hello, everyone.
Hi.
Welcome.
Okay. You don't even know what my intro is because you haven't listened to any of my podcasts before, have you?
Fun story, I bullied you to be on a podcast that I've never seen. Because I have no expectations, and I think it's beautiful.
Okay, here's my intro. To my dear friends, family, and folks at home, hi, hello, and how are you? And welcome back to D-Talk with David Day. I'm your host, David Day, and today on the podcast, we have a beautiful guest, Comrade Yulia Borscht.
That's me.
I'm so excited to have you here. Have you seen Maddie Morphous's podcast?
Are you straight?
I love... Yeah, this is where this is going. We're going to start here with your Instagram. Yeah, so the comedy queen of Calgary.
It's a meme.
Okay, there's lore. I love that. Confusing camp and magic.
I do that.
Queer trans disaster icon.
Labels.
TGT winner season 7.
Correct.
So good. How long ago was that?
That was after New Year in 2023. It was in May. It was in May of 2023.
And then the last thing here, host and producer of Housing Crisis.
Correct.
Oh, so good. So is this your first production?
It is my first production.
Oh, that's so okay. How did you get there?
I wanted to have a show for quite some time now, and I was just scribbling my ideas for different shows. And me and Danny Phantom, my beautiful lesbian lover in the show and in real life too, had the beautiful idea of doing different houses. So I like thematic shows, so it's different theme every next show. Danny had that idea of going to different houses and just looking at them and being like, oh, wow, cool. And then we made up the lore about us being a lesbian couple, which wasn't that hard. And we basically wrote down, we scripted the show, the concept, the format, all of the business stuff. We the next day we went to the venue and we were like, hey, this is the show. And they were like, yeah, start in 3 weeks.
Oh, that's so good. Okay, tell me about the pickles. Where did the pickles start?
It was my second number ever. I did TGT. It was my first drag performance. I did a song by Ukrainian drag queen that had like 7 lyrics. And I was like, wow, I really hate learning songs. And I got in the top 2, and then I lost the top 2. And I was like, oh, okay. And I was like, okay, I need to prepare something for next week. But I hate learning lyrics. So I did, I wanted to find a song that didn't have many lyrics. And I was like, okay, what am I going to do? I don't know. What am I going to wear? Let's start there. And I went to Value Village right before I started thinking about it. And it was pre-Halloween, so they were selling a lot of Halloween costumes and stuff. And for $3, they had a pickle costume.
It's a steal.
And I just got it because it was funny and dumb. I didn't know what to do with it. And I'm like, okay, so I can wear the blazer and like pants. And I asked Ripam because Ripam was hosting my first TGT. I asked, what do you think I can do so I can like get people? And it was like, I don't know, do like tearaway pants or something. I was like, okay, tearaway pants, blazer. What? Oh, I have that pickle thing. Let me try it on. I tried it on. I'm like, oh, how does it go with a blazer? Oh, if I tuck it in, it's like it gives me a nice weird shape, and I can reveal in. Also, I have this giant pocket because I wrapped it up, and I have this pocket, and I can put some. Okay. And the song that I was doing was Ding Dong by Katya. And it's based on a Russian song, Boom Boom by Lobada. Not Russian, she's Ukrainian. We're all the same. We start getting to the gray area of things. So, and the music video for that is iconic and gorgeous and amazing and stunning. And it has the moment where there are women standing on a table and they're doing different things, repetitive movement of sorts. And one of the repetitive movements that one woman was doing is pulling handkerchiefs out of her pants. And I was like, that's fun. So I ordered 30 handkerchiefs off Amazon. I tied them all together. I put them in a pocket that I had. And I figured out a number. So I did have a jar of pickles that I eat on stage. Then I did my handkerchiefs, which went for longest time ever because they're quite long. I was like, I'll just put everything together. Everything that I have, I'll just put it together.
I love the lipstick.
I'm chewing on the pickle. I don't care for words. Yeah, the first performance that I did, I was like, I am the Voguer. I know shit.
Really?
And no, I did not know shit.
I can't imagine you doing that.
I love doing props. I think it's my thing. It's a thing that I do, and I like doing it, and I like people's reaction to it, and that's my element. And I like thinking about props, thinking about timings. I think it's gag worthy. I love throwing things, especially to ABBA.
Your watchability and your entertainment ability, like, you had to have had that before this. It's not like you just walked into this amount of charisma at this point.
My mom is an actress.
Right.
My father runs a theater. I grew up in a theater. I grew up in the back rooms of theater with actors smoking and shitting on life. And
I can feel that from you. like in the best way.
Yeah, and I didn't know what drag is, but I basically created it myself. Because I remember I had CD player, and I was putting CDs in the CD player.
Yeah, as you do.
And I was pressing play, and there are songs that are playing. And I was just dancing around in different outfits, and I was making my own outfits from like paper and my mom's clothes and stuff. And I was dancing to a wall. And I was like, yes, Edith Piaf. What is that? I'll send it to you. It was my favorite song ever. I was thinking, I'm a pirate. There is nothing. I didn't know French. There is nothing about pirates. I was just, it's giving pirate. I'm a little pirate.
Aww.
And to like children's music, the songs from cartoons and stuff. And I was like, wow, I love this a lot. And everyone was telling me, Yulia, you should be an actress. Go be an actress like your mom. You have such a talent, presence, charisma and stuff. And I was like, no. Because when you're an actress, they tell you what to do. And they give you a role that you have to fit. And I'm like, I want to make my own stuff. I want to perform things that are in my brain. And then when I started doing drag, I was like, wow, I can do that.
It is, though, like, to not fit the roles. And one of my favorite parts about drag, too, is kind of like how you were explaining about the pickle, of like making a number based off of your interest in the moment. Like, if you would have had the intention of creating a number a year ago or a year after, it probably wouldn't have been this pickle. But the pickle was there in that moment, and you bought it, and it happened. And now it's just the pickle. That's how my Furby happened.
Oh,
Like it was just there, and I was like, I could make it, and then I made it, and then I was like, well, I'm a performer, so we should probably get that bitch out here.
Your Furby is insane.
That is.
It was the first number I saw you do, and I was like this.
Because that was our origin story when we met.
All the time. I was like, what the hell? This is amazing. I want to be friends with this person. This is everything. Every time I see a person who does props and does props well, does absurdity well, the theater of absurdity. I'm
That's
like,
what it is,
wow.
though. That's what, yeah.
Wow. That's like the definition of camp when you don't care, when everything is fun to you, when there is nothing serious. It's like, yeah.
That's so good. I remember when I got there, because I think I sat at your table for like 20 minutes before the show started. And we just like, I think we like introduced each other, and we were just like casually like talking as a group of four. And then I left, and then I did my number, and then outside at intermission, I remember I spotted you like coming out of the door, and you had such a huge grin on your face, and you came right towards me. It was so cute.
I was gagged the whole time. The monster thing. The spoken word that you do.
I get roasted for the spoken word. Like you with the props, I just love doing it, and it feels so right.
Yeah, just do that. Do what feels right. And when people are like, oh yeah, whatever, this and that, they can. I have numbers with no props, but I had to become comfortable using my props, and get the satisfaction from people telling me that, oh my God, Yulia, things that you do are so great. So I can feel good about what I do now. So I can think about adding movement and adding things in between the use of props. Because you can see that basically, Karl Marx taught me that I have a reveal, a prop reveal, prop reveal, prop reveal, but things that are happening in between are also important. And there I was just like kind of walking around a little bit, doing a little bit here and there. But then I started, oh, okay, I can learn to do something in between my reveals, in between props. And then I started learning how to move. And then after that, I got to the point where I can do number without props and feel good about that too. Because if you give me a thing, just do no props, and I feel not great about it, why would I bother continuing?
And do you feel like there's a vulnerability too? Like I feel it with my mixes of like I can hide behind a messy edit, and like, but if that's not there and it's just a number, it's just me, right?
There is a lot of comfort, and that's a thing. I don't think being comfort zone is a bullshit that was invented by capitalists to push workers further. You're like, you're in your comfort zone. Yes, I am, because I'm getting paid for exactly things that my job description says. I want to be there. But yeah, I was very insecure about my body too. And it took a while of, it took a lot of performing, a lot of times doing that, to be like, yeah, I can be basically naked on stage with both halves of my tuck being exposed to the world and being in peace with that. I don't really care anymore. But it's a journey, and I don't think anyone can tell me how to walk my way. The thing with art is that so when you draw something, you have a picture in your mind of what you want to draw, and then you put it on paper, and you have a comparison to do between what happened in your brain and how you did it. But other people, when they're watching, they don't have that picture. They don't have any expectation. They don't have any idea of what you were thinking about. So every time I do a number, and I love rewatching myself constantly, I'm like, oh yeah, this is a little thing that I did wrong. This is a little thing that went wrong. This little thing. But then when other people watch my numbers, they're like, they have no idea what I planned. And they have, I don't know, the vibe of it is so strong, I guess, that you get those little details.
Okay, so the first time that I saw you in real life wasn't at Dickens that night when we actually met each other. I forget why I went to Twisted, but I was at Twisted and...
Why? Why do people go to Twisted nowadays?
No, this was maybe like a year ago, I think. And I walked in, I think I was meeting somebody. I had had a few drinks already and I was like wandering downstairs and it was really busy and you were performing and I like was trying to get my way through the crowd and then like from across I saw you and you were just like running towards me. It was very fast and you scared the hell out of me. I was terrified. And then I went outside. I'm like, no, I gotta wait for my person out here. It's too... I was so... Because you have such an intensity too while you perform. But it's so different because, like, I don't like, right? You're so edgy. I would be if I didn't know you. I would be nervous.
I have gotten a lot of feedback, let's say that,
Yeah.
on me being intimidating in person and in drag and just in general in life. I find it to be not the worst thing in the world, because I get things done my way. But sometimes when people say that, oh my God, you were so intimidating when we first met, I was so scared of you. I think of how many friendships I've missed because of people thinking that I'm intimidating and unapproachable. Because I think I'm lovely and adorable and cute and I don't know, whatever.
Yeah, you are. No.
Cringe. But yeah, I'm just thinking, well, if it didn't happen, it didn't happen. But I think of like, oh yeah, if people perceive me that way, that definitely excludes me from particular circles. Maybe I don't need to be there. But yeah, and I also think that's part of it is transphobia, because
In not the joke way.
not in a joke way, because a lot of my trans femmes were labeled as intimidating, and it's basically another way of people saying, oh yeah, you're such a guy, you're such a man, because like the energy that you bring is so intimidating and we're scared of it. For me, part of it is trans misogyny, because I'm not fitting your standard and idea of femininity, and that's why you're like, wow.
That's really
A
interesting.
lot of my trans femme friends have exact same thing where people are like, oh my God, I'm so intimidated by you.
I'm thinking so much right now. That's so, but yeah, no, it does make sense.
Ask me a question.
Oh, I do have a whole structure here, but we've been talking
A
quite
structure.
nicely. Yeah, I even have my printout here.
A printout.
But you're not going to see these questions. Yeah,
Not
okay.
looking at them.
Oh my God, we were going to start with this. What are your, oh wait, you know what?
Let's
before-
restart the whole thing, by the way.
Oh God. Okay, yeah, you know what? We are needing to take a break here, but you know what we can end on? The first line here, because we said we were going to start it this way last night when we talked, but we forgot. What are your controversial takes?
Oh, my controversial takes.
Yeah.
I think there's only one gender, and it's woman.
I can get on board with that. I do love it.
I bet you do.
You're who those conservatives are warning everybody about, because you're trying to get everybody to transition.
I'm looking at you with my transsexual eyes.
Okay, let's take a break. We'll be right back.
Go take a break, get some lemonade, pour yourself a cup of coffee, chill a little bit, think about your life, process it, but don't think too hard. Just like vibe with it, be gentle to yourself, be curious about yourself. Go fuck off. If you had a guitar, I would sing you my misogyny song. I just like ding 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 ding, and I yelled, misogyny! Woman, shut up! You open your mouth, I hate it. Speaking of paid actresses,
Speaking of, yeah, my glitter folder here. Oh, okay. What don't you like about drag and performing? What's something you don't like about it?
I don't like. Well, I am a part of the problem, but being salty about it now because I can, because I'm so great. So many people do that. So many people do drag.
Oh,
It has become such a thing where it is people think that it's so easy and it's like queer art and I'll do that too because I'm queer. And I'm like, okay, cool.
No, that is a controversial take. I don't know if I necessarily disagree with you though. I feel like do you think you're at all biased though because the community you surround yourself with is just like the performers? Like I feel like there's so much more drag in the world now in the last year, but it's because I'm in those spaces.
I have a lot of people who I know. My friends, a lot of my friends are from drag, and I am definitely in the environment that is very queer. A lot of people who I see, it's a, you know, when you learn a new thing and you start noticing it everywhere. I don't remember what it's called. There is a Wikipedia page. You'll find it. There is an effect. It's called a certain way. But every time I go to a venue and I have a show, I'm like, oh yeah, everyone here is queer. Everyone here I know. But it's not true. It's just the people who I don't know, I don't pay attention to them.
Yeah.
So I'm like, oh yeah, full of performers. True. Still think that you can express yourself and feel good about it and not go any further.
And sometimes it's the intention of it too, because I've met performers who are just there for that. Because usually when I sit down with somebody, I ask like, where are you going? What's the goal? Where's this headed? What's yours? Oh my God, that's a good question.
A question.
Like in 5 years, where do you see yourself?
Hopefully alive and not in Russia.
Okay.
I started producing my own show. I would love to produce more. I would love to have a weekly gig and to be like...
That you produce yourself? Like it's your show?
Yeah, to have my own show. That's... I don't want to say in 5 years. I want to... sooner. I think I have means to do that. So a weekly show would be nice. I want to have one woman show too, and I want to have it in like a venue that is not like a nightclub,
Like a theater.
Like a theater. Oh, I'm very inspired by what Lilith Fair does. Her one woman show. I haven't seen it, but I have seen snippets and heard a lot about it. I find it wow. I can only dream of that and like wow, cool. I want to spread my hands onto comedy stuff too, because I know that I can do props and physical comedy, but embarrassing to share.
The new comedy Bible, I love it.
So whenever I say, oh, I was at the comedy event. I was doing my magic there, and there were stand-up comedians, and I was like, "Oh my God, look! I have a comedy stand-up book on me. Isn't it so great?" And that comedian looked at me like I look at
I was gonna say
being like, "Oh my God, I'm so excited to start drag." I'm like,
that's so funny. I have a Magic for Beginners book out there on the shelf, I'm pretty sure. But you got to start somewhere. I have a power round of questions for you. And they don't need to be real answers. They can be improvised. But I have about 12 of them that we'll rip through here. You ready? What keeps you awake at night?
Sex.
What is your life motto?
Just happy to be here.
What's the hardest part about serving?
Being in the wait list for bottom surgery for 5 years.
What is one adjective that describes you best?
Adjectives.
A describing word.
I know. I've gotten education. Actually, fun thing. I don't like describing myself with words. I don't like adjectives. I don't like, oh, I am so smart. I am so intellectual. Okay. I don't like when people compliment me with adjectives for some weird reason. But I like possession. Yulia, you have such a great brain.
Yeah.
Like, wow, thank you.
Is it conjugated that way in Russian?
I don't think so. I don't think it's a language thing. I think it's like psychological something. Yeah. It's easier for me to have something than to be something.
Oh.
So, I don't know. Perplex.
You have perplex. It's all the P's. Okay. What's one of your red flags?
Smoking.
Yeah. What's your proudest accomplishment?
Proudest accomplishment. I have my own show.
Who would play you in the movie of your life? Who would play her?
Not a person who started doing drag yesterday, or a person who started doing drag yesterday, because I think that'd be fucking hilarious.
Yeah. If you had if you had a fragrance, what would it smell like?
Oh, I'm obsessed with Tom Ford that they discontinued. Tom Ford Noir de Noir pour femme. Well, it's pour femme or whatever fucking French. Yes, I am obsessed with that fragrance. It smells like grandma's attic with spices, and like it's just so good. Flowers, like dried flowers. I don't know much, but like, oh, so good. They discontinued it.
Okay, so this next one, we've already kind of talked about it, but what if there was a queen who you were supporting starting drag? What would your advice be?
So my advice to you. Who's metamorphosis here?
Yeah, it is.
I don't know. Talk to people. Be nice to people. Talk to people. That's what got me to the place where I am, and that's challenge that I see many new and seasoned people have.
It's interesting. Like, I moved here to pursue performing and content creation and doing all of this. I underestimated the weight that building community around me would have and how much influence it would have, not only on what I'm creating, but just like my mental health. Like, I have such a good time and I get gassed up like going out and spending time with all the queers.
Finding drag community was I wouldn't say it's like one of the biggest achievements, but it is a thing that changed my life more than moving to Canada.
Yeah, it's so wild. I started a closet queen, or a bedroom queen, not a closet queen. I was never in the closet. Yeah, it just wasn't necessary really to come out because they were like, oh,
Yeah.
we've been new. Yeah, it's like, yeah. Oh, so good. Okay, I think that's. Do you know about compasses?
What's compasses?
Like a compass, like directions. Like
Yeah.
if I say north, can you point in the
Yes.
direction of where north is? That's hot.
Thank you.
That's hot. That's one of my icks in people is when I'm like, go west. Or like, what's that way? I'm like, can we not? Like, it's not.
It's so easy. In
It
Calgary.
is.
Calgary, Alberta. Pow, 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 pow.
It is true. It's
Everything
like a
is
grid.
so, like, yeah, everything is grid. Everything is just made for you to be able to point in a direction. I think in some native languages, they don't have any words for right, left. And they use northeast and other stuff to
That's
be
great.
like, yeah. Because
Wow.
it's all relative. My right is your left, but our north is our north.
I'm impressed. This is like your first time too, even in this room. Like there's one window and you're like, north is that way. Oh, that was good. That was good. Okay, and then oh, this isn't written down, but do you think bears can count? Like the animal bears, can they count?
I don't think bears can count, but
Yeah. tell me.
so there is a little thing. That's a story. There is a little thing, a thought experiment. If the little monkeys, if they didn't evolve into us building civilizations and doing all the stuff that we do, what animals do you think would be able to evolve to create civilizations? There are wrong answers, by the way.
There are wrong answers. Like there's one in particular that you're looking for?
There
or
is
that
one in
the right
particular that is phenomenal for it, and it would definitely make it.
answer? Is it a banana? Because isn't it bananas are only like one gene different from humans? Have you heard that? It's not an animal, but
I thought you were elementary school.
anyway.
No, it's
'cause
an animal that
yeah,
evolves. It has very high chances. Potentially, it has very strong potential to become a species that creates civilizations.
Okay.
So people say dolphins because dolphins are smart. Dolphins are okay, cool, amazing, fantastic. They have sex for fun, but they don't have any limbs that they can do
Yeah.
stuff with. Closest animals that lives underwater would be octopi.
Okay.
Because octopi are very smart. They have a lot of tentacles that they can do things with, and it would be a challenge for them to figure out how to do it underwater, how to like make things underwater. But their problem is that they can achieve very high levels of development in their lifetime, but they die so quickly before their children are able to like learn and stuff. So they achieve very high development stages in their life, but they can't pass it on to their children, so their children don't learn shit. So octopi. Then there are bears, who are actually very smart. They can eat everything, which helps a lot because you are like
like top of the food chain, you mean? Eat
yes,
everything.
they can eat eat meat, they eat fucking vegetables and but they're whatever English word there is for eating anything, just like us. Their problem is that they're not very social, so it'll be challenge for them to build society. But there were observations of hundreds of bears. Had a stroke. There are observations of bears being in large groups in North America. So that's like a thing to watch out for. Oh, interesting. Many bears together. They usually don't do that. They they can by themselves. But the main course of the party are raccoons.
Really?
Because raccoons eat anything. They have little tiny hands that they can do little things with. And they are social, they're smart, and they're just perfect. If not monkeys, evolving into us humans doing things like fucking podcasts. It'd be raccoons.
Wow. So do you believe that like
Bears can count? I don't think so.
like do you believe in the evolution, like that we did evolve from monkeys? Do you believe
I
that?
try not to think much. I'm just happy to be here.
No, honestly, that's really fair. I'm just a baby. Okay, now we're gonna get into the deep section. Because we're gonna talk about queer stuff and gay stuff and trans stuff. I want to talk about what we started talking about. Can you wind us up again for that?
In my experience, non-binary people who pass as their gender assigned at birth, they were the most transphobic to me. Because with cis people, they're either scared of making mistakes or they don't care. And they're like, I'm going to be transphobic to you. I'm like, okay, I'm prepared. With like medical system, I'm prepared. With legal system, I'm prepared. With cis people, I don't know, being bigoted, I'm like, okay, cool. I know what kind of mindset you have. I am not interested in talking to you. So it's easy. With a very specific demographic that I've described, it is that they have different experience from me, your classic transsexual woman. But the awareness of our different experiences is not always there. And the care is not there because with the people that I've interacted with the bad apples,
The moldy blueberries.
the moldy blueberries, there's so much arrogance there that I'm also trans and I know what it is to be trans. And if I don't know better than you, then I'll just like, yeah, fuck you. I don't know. Not fuck you, but like, there wasn't any room for for me to express my concerns, to be like, hey, this is transphobic. And you're like, yeah, we're also trans, so we can't do anything wrong. And yeah, I don't know. Well, I'm a gender abolitionist. I think gender is social construct that we don't need. It's one of the most ancient ways to control people, and it's not great. So I recognize the bullshit of gender. I recognize that non-binary people are literally doing so much to deconstruct it and help us to get rid of it in general. It is, I don't know, my inner non-binary phobia or whatever you call it. But it is hard for me to process some things because I'm a binary trans woman. So like when people ask for pronouns, I'm like, I've been on estrogen for 6 years, babes. What do you think?
It's so interesting too, though, because I remember earlier when you got here, we were talking about somebody and I said the pronoun they and you corrected me and went she. And now I'm putting that together in a few times that we've talked together and you've done that. But no, it totally makes sense. I have so many things to say to you and like questions to ask because, yeah, it's an interesting conversation. I've been thinking about this for a long time.
Medically transitioning?
I know. I was gonna say that you're a pusher. You're a pusher.
You can be a she they. It's fine.
No, but like, okay. So in the beginning of my journey, I don't know, because I grew up as like a gay male and leaned really hard into that label. But it wasn't because when I was in middle school, I was just really feminine. So I was labeled as gay from the beginning and I never even really thought about it. I was like, yeah, that makes sense. I'm attracted to masculinity and men. Sure, let's go with that. And then as I got older, I was like, oh, there's actually more to the equation here. And it's not really fitting in this neat little box. So it took me a while to get out of like the sexuality piece, but then also the gender piece. And then I had friends around me that were non-binary and I was looking at their experiences and like the way that they would talk and the way that they picture gender. I thought, I really like that. And I want to move to that space. But then I remember conceptualizing being non-binary fitting into the trans community. Because like you said, the experience is not the same. And I didn't consider myself trans, but I did consider myself non-binary for a long time.
Say tranny.
Tranny, that's what you want? No, but like, and then I remember I sat down with a friend who was trans and they were like, but it doesn't have to, not every experience will be the same. And there can be people within one community that don't share the same experience, but there is the recognition of the differences. Because like you said too, like I've said this before on the podcast, I can pass when my safety requires it. And I think that's a huge privilege because I can walk in somewhere and I present as the most powerful person in the pyramid of capitalism. So it is so different.
I recognize that exclusionary politics are very bad and damaging to everyone involved. So with, LGBT liberation, when gay people got their rights, they were like, oh yeah, we're not associated with trans people. That's different. So we're not including them. It's a liberation for us. With white women and second wave feminism, when they were like, yeah, us and black women, we have such different experiences. So they shouldn't be allowed in our bathrooms. A lot of, exclusionary politics is damaging and it's not helping. Recognizing differences is great, fantastic, good. It's our fight together. Let's just get there. I think it's just like my pity thing that I have with my experiences with non-binary people and their privilege in the way that you've explained. It's not, I recognize that it's not coming from a right place, but it's a thing that I have. I know mentally that, yeah, our fight, we're all together and fuck gender. It doesn't matter how we get there. We just need to get there where there is no gender. But it's so hard for me coming from my place, being a binary trans woman from Russia, where you have to pass so bad because it's like a burning thing. I can't be a cis man. So I have to pass as a trans, as a woman, if I pass as a trans woman, then I'll get beaten up and whatever. So I gotta pass so hard as a cis woman, and that's the thing that I had when I first came to Canada. I was like, oh my god, I gotta be passing, and when I started doing drag, Carla Marx was huge inspiration for me, because she's a trans woman and she was not afraid to be perceived in any way, because that was one of my fears, that people will think that I'm just a cis gay guy out of drag. Then I was like, yeah, fuck it. So I'm getting there. I'm not a she they, but
The eyes. That's so funny. I just sometimes say they is like a default as to not, because I feel like if I'm going to misgender somebody by accident,
I think that's
they is going to be better.
misgendering.
Yeah, but would you rather be called they or sir by accident?
Interesting question.
I hate sir so much.
I hate sir. I don't like they either, but I don't know. I'd be, because they I get from queer people, and queer people are people who I would expect to understand more. The famous they person, the non-binary ally.
Talk about Latina.
So, yeah, I see how it is becoming a very gender neutral pronoun for everyone to be included in it. So people stop using pronouns. But it is, again, a pain that I have that, hey, I've been here transitioning my old ways, and this thing is taking it away from me in a way, which is like not sexy and not cool. I'm closed-minded and that sort. I wouldn't say I'm closed-minded. I'm just having very hard time with it. And I a lot of my binary trans fellas, the he's and she's, we're kind of on the same page there, but it's like not a thing that you want to talk about it even. I think it's important to hear like different perspectives on different things, but we're all gonna die, and it's soon's gonna be so not important at all. So why bother?
Like you're talking about transphobia in the queer community itself, those little pockets that present themselves always fascinate and terrify me. Of like, I had a good friend that I had a falling out with, and she was a lesbian, probably still is, I don't know. And then it was like 2 years after we had not spoken, and we hung out for one time, and we had a mutual friend who was a trans man, and we weren't part of his life before he transitioned, so we didn't know him as anything else. And she was dead naming him and like using she, her pronouns for this man. And I like stopped her and I was like, wait, who are you talking about? And then she like used his real name, and I was like, sorry, what's going on here? And she was like, oh yeah, over the last 2 years I just realized that trans people like aren't valid, and that trans women are women and trans men aren't men. And I stood there and just like shocked. I didn't know what to say. Well, I did know what to say. I said, okay, I'm going to leave, because that's just, it blows my mind. That's how people can change their perspective or even have that transphobic or homophobic perspective from within the community.
So the thing there is, when you don't unpack gender, when you don't unpack gender stereotypes, when you don't unpack sexism, then it is so easy to be intimidated by a trans woman. Basically, they were raised in a certain way to be not super comfortable around cis men, because cis men are dangerous, and it's, I don't know, whatever thing. So it's easy to be intimidated by a man, and to label me as intimidating, or another thing, top and bottom. you have such top energy. It's basically saying, oh yeah, you'd be a man in a relationship.
Yeah.
Same thing. I'm top and bottom are verbs.
You have bottom.
Not nouns. No, this is an adjective. I know my grammar.
Yeah, you do.
I paid for my English. So
Yeah, I was gonna say in 2 languages.
so being a top, it doesn't work like that. You have such a top energy. No, I just have qualities of my personality. I'm confident. Basically you have such a top energy is saying that, oh yeah, you are a man in a relationship, because that's like the topping bottoming from the cis gay culture, where you are either a penetrator or being penetrated, and it's like the thing. And being the penetrator gives you that masculinity, the confidence, the power, because it's a power thing.
Masculinity is a power thing. It's interesting. I like we were talking about with the performances before. I definitely hide behind some masculine traits too, because it feels easy.
I am comfortable with my masculine traits, but there is a difference between naming them and saying, oh yeah, you act like a man. You are being perceived by me right now as a man. And for my little trans heart, it's like, why you're saying it? What's up? I'm not intimidating by you because you're a woman. I don't know. What do I say to that? Okay,
Yeah.
sure. Don't stop that. Unpack your sexism. Unpack your trans misogyny, please.
And
But you don't want to.
How would somebody do that?
Figuring out why you have like certain thoughts and ideas about certain people, certain demographics. How do you unpack sexism? You get feedback from people that you are being sexist, and you think, wow, how and why? How does it show in my life? How do I express it? Why do I express it? Are there any ideas that I was raised with? Because like we had to, I don't think that you were born in a family where they were just like, yeah, gay, trans, whatever, yay, amazing, anything. Because like you get the values and the ideas and the certain behavior patterns being taught to you as a child. And I don't know anyone who escaped that. So
'Cause it's everywhere. It's in colors. It's in books. It's in the structure of everything.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Movies, media, everything around you is infiltrated with old ideas. That's why representation matters. And thinking about why do I get that idea that women are inferior to men, like in fucking sports, in chess. Trans women aren't allowed to play against women in chess.
Specifically in chess.
In chess too, among other sports.
Yeah.
But chess is like, I don't think chess is an Olympic thing. It's like, it has its own association and whatever. Trans women aren't allowed to play against cis women in chess because they have unfair advantage in lifting pieces because they're strong.
Because I was going to say, yeah, the argument is like the stronger nature in other sports, but then how is that going to affect chess?
Exactly. So, yeah, those non-binary people who run chess competitions.
They're literally the worst.
No, but the thing with sports, the division between men and women isn't like old-timey thing either. I think it was the basketball. There was, I don't remember names, but there's a story that there was that basketball player who is famous, and he said that he would not play against women because he was terrified of losing to women. and that's how they've gotten the division in sports between men and women, because for a cis men it's so embarrassing to lose to a cis woman,
And that's
or like
just the misogyny again.
yes.
Like,
So I think transphobia and any bigotry in regards of gender has to do a lot with misogyny and sexism. And there is a lot to unpack and think, where are those ideas of mine are coming from? First of all, figuring them out, being like, oh yeah, okay, so finally I got it. Women are inferior to men. So where do I get it from, actually? From my childhood, from what my parents' relationship looked like, what people's relationship I see in the world, and then you think, oh, it's actually arbitrary as fuck, and it is not. It's hurting other people who I interact with, so I will be more cautious about it, and maybe catch myself in those moments and be like, hey, stop that.
it's hard though, because do you feel like most people have access to just think about their own thoughts like that?
No, because privilege blinds you a lot. If you're benefiting from other people's suffering, why would you ever stop using your privilege? I like recognizing it is a lot. Addressing it is a whole different thing, because I recognize my privileges. Am I addressing them? I just said so many things about non-binary people. I wish I was non-binary.
Why?
Because like that's the abolition of gender is my end goal, but I'm so attached to it. I'm like, oh my god, my gender, my gender, my gender.
You're always talking about your gender.
Actually, not true. Well, because we were talking about gender now, but an observation that I've made is that in the group of trans masks, they're always talking about gender. Always. They're like, I'm a little guy. I'm this big. I'm just a little guy, and my gender. So when I wear this little thing, it makes me so. My gender flannel, my gender this, gender that. When I get misgendered,
I'm feeling very gender.
I'm feeling very gender. It's
Yeah.
very like
It's giving gender.
it's a giving. It's very trans mask thing, but in a circle of trans fam, it's like, oh yeah. So estrogen in shots versus estrogen in pills. Dosage.
It's women in STEM. That's
Women
what
in
we're
STEM.
talking about here, yeah. Why do you think it is like that, though? Why do you think there's the delineation?
There is like a boring answer to it, because there's not many ways that you can get testosterone, and it is just like, oh yeah, do a shot. That's basically it. But with estrogen, we have fucking patches, we have pills, levels change, we have prog, we have injections, and it's all like different and fluctuating. We have to take testosterone blockers to be like, oh yeah, my T levels are this, that,
That's so
which is
interesting.
fun observation.
It is fun. No, I remember when I was in neuro classes last summer, learning about the effects of testosterone and estrogen on the brain, because I've argued with a lot of people.
Are women inferior to men in chess?
No, but like so many people argue of like the masculinized brain and the feminized brain, and that there's structural and functional differences in them. And if you line up, like there's a lot of research that shows throughout history the different thinking patterns, and even just if you do like an MRI or a SPECT scan, it does look different from a male brain to a female brain, or like the biological sex. But after the influence of hormones,
Hormone washes.
it changes it. So if you take the same brain that's been masculinized or feminized, it changes so much. And I think a lot of people think that it stays the exact same when it is just the function of hormones on the body. Okay.
So you like hormones.
This is it.
Gender affirming care is life-changing and life-saving. So it's gender affirming care is not only for trans people, and cis people were using fucking hormone blockers for however long, longer than Viagra, and which also is gender affirming care.
Viagra?
Yeah. So like children whose puberty started very early on, they were on like cis children, they were on hormone blockers to fix their puberty problem, whatever.
Like to prolong their puberty?
No, because some children start puberty very early on, and they get on puberty blockers to stop it from happening that early. And then you go off hormone blockers, and then your hormones are just like...
And then you go through puberty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is the same, literally same idea for trans kids and their healthcare. Cis people are using gender affirming care. And our healthcare is, again, it's older than Viagra. I would have been doing so much better if Nazis didn't burn the shit out of the sex and gender university research thing.
What?
So you've seen the book burning pictures?
Mm-hmm.
Most of the book burnings that are documented, all the photographed, all the pictures, they come from there was a university, a research place where they studied gender diversity, and they started performing bottom surgeries. They started performing hormone treatment, and all the research was there. And Nazis burnt it. And most of the pictures of book burnings that you see are from the Institute of Sexual Research something.
Wow.
Yeah. So because when was that? I think it was 1912 when the first bottom surgery was done.
Wow.
So it was like early 19th century, 20th century.
It's like just 100 years ago.
Yeah. Like bottom surgery 100 years ago. Wow. And if we had the development, if we had room to study it, if we didn't lose so much, I wonder where would have went. And I'll tell you more about Grindr.
About Grindr?
About Grindr.
Oh my god, okay, yeah, Grindr. Tell me.
So the beauty standard for gay men, beauty standards for gay men, come from Aryan standards. So how they measure your skull, how you have to be fit, no femmes, and all that stuff. It literally roots. There is a good video essay on that, on how Nazism influenced beauty standards. And there is like so much footage of topless Aryan men being in their peak form, and it's literally Grindr culture.
Yeah.
Like again, the top bottom thing in Turkey, you're not allowed to be to become an officer in the army. You can't get the position. If you can get it if you're a gay man. You can't get it if you're a bottom. Have you unpacked yours?
Have you unpacked yours?
I don't know.
That's good.
Do you? So when you go travel, because you travel a lot, or it seems that you do, with those teeth. So,
Yeah, you're.
Do you unpack your luggage like immediately, or the next day, or within a week, or like you have clothing items in your suitcase?
I do. They don't leave my suitcase.
They just live there.
The way that I pack is I pack everything in outfits. So I know based off of how many days I'm leaving for, I have all the outfits already kind of like in sections, folded all together. So then when I arrive, I just open my suitcase and have it flat on like the floor or a surface, and I just pull what I need from it. But when I leave that hotel, like if I'm leaving my stuff there, I close it. So everything's like in my suitcase and locked.
Well,
The parallels, I can't. Why? What's yours?
I I usually unpack everything. So when I arrive, whatever, I unpack everything, and then when I get back home, I put everything back in place like immediately. I just can't have it laying in the suitcase and be like,
Yeah. And I think too, maybe for me is I don't really stay in a hotel more than once, like for more than one night. I'm just running a content farm out here, and we gotta go in the morning.
No, that would make sense. Need is a bad word, by the way. Don't say need or should. Switch the language. That's bullshit. It's not making you feel good. No needs, no shoulds. Say, I want. I could. Nah, could is also iffy. I want to travel more. That sounds so much better than, oh, I need to travel. It's like a burden or something.
I've heard that with should, but not with need.
Should and need and must are should bad. Go away, remove. But need and must also fall under the thing because it's basically saying should with a different flavor. Just say I want, or I will. Make it a plan. Do it. I'm not gonna make it a plan. I just wish. So I say I want to travel more, but it's okay if I don't. So yeah, it was not about why I feel feelings that I feel and think, thoughts that I think, but what to do with them and how to manage it. And life changing. So being in the mindset in a space where I cannot get frustrated, where I can get frustrated, but I can manage it, where I can be present. It helps a lot with just being chill and already being a very smart individual. I have this ability to just sit down, go through my feelings, and then think about, okay, so let's unpack that. And it's not only about systemic stuff, because I also, for systemic stuff, for the biases and for discrimination and for power structures and oppression, you need to learn things in order to understand them. But it works with like everything, with how my day was, with I don't know, why I feel certain way when they calls me intimidating. It's work.
It's so much work. But then do you feel like it gets easier as it goes on because then you have like a routine that you move through?
It gets easier. It gets natural that you don't get upset. And you don't go to that immediate defensive because coping.
Yeah.
Coping. Everything is coping, and coping is very important. But some coping costs you more than benefits you, and some coping costs more to other people when you cope in certain ways. Like, I don't know, when you throw a fight, when you're like getting drunk and walking around beating up people. That's coping. That makes you feel better. But doesn't make other people around you feel better.
Yeah.
So when you are able to cope in ways that are more beneficial for you and people who are around you, when it's more beneficial than costly, that's the place where you want to. When you put your distress levels down, when you're in the position where you can think about things and not like stress out, when you can focus on them, the chill zone, then go for it, do it. And it's becoming thing because it's a skill that you practice, and when you practice it enough times, it just becomes a natural thing to do. Yeah, so I'm quite an interesting person. But
Yeah, you're a really nice person with a lot to offer. My God, I'm just so focused on listening to you.
Next time I will commit more to asking questions.
No, don't at all. I brought you here to listen to you.
I think it's just like, I used to say that, oh yeah, because I went to fucking school. And I thought that it was me being raised in Russia and coming to Canada where everyone's dumb. But I don't.
Is that the perception?
I don't think it's necessarily true because I was struggling with the one who thinks. I was
Yeah.
I was struggling with finding connections with people at the certain levels, because I had a lot of shallow connections, but it felt like none of them go deep. I recognized now that it was different. It was not people around me. It was just things. Doesn't really matter where it's coming from. I just realized that it's not people who are around me that are everyone's dumb. Because I have the beautiful connections now, and I'm able to, because it's also work to develop. It's so fucking enlightened. I'm giving you so much for teasers.
Yeah. No, I know. Yeah, it's great.
I honestly hate women. Men are disgusting.
Oh yeah.
I wish they died. Clap if you care. Clap if you think they should die.
What was that?
Yeah.
Oh my god, that's if that doesn't get them, I don't think anything else will.
Non-binary people are not real. I have not seen or felt or touched a person in my life. Only men or women.
Oh god.
Yeah. So yeah. I was trying to find what makes life valuable at all. And it's the way you perceive and experience world is so unique. No one else can do it. And the point of living life is to experience it in the way that you experience it. And if you can communicate your experiences to other people, that's so beautiful. That's like, can you imagine that we're sitting here and talking and I'm telling you how I perceive life and what experiences I had just because I could have them the way I do, just because I am me and that's it, and it requires absolutely nothing. And I'm just here and I'm just talking about things and no one else could. And that's what makes it interesting and fun, because the perspectives and just sense of life, the meaning of the value of life is not you communicating your experience, it's just you experiencing it and you having it, the experience of life. But communicating it to another person is such a pleasure. And if I find it that if I deconstruct it for myself and I chew it in small bites, it is so much easier for me to communicate it to other people, which makes it easier to communicate it, which makes it more pleasant experience, because I have that idea in my mind of what I want to give you. And it's the same thing with art, that you have that picture in mind and you're drawing it. They're different, but it is just like your drawing skills are tool for you to transfer the image from your mind onto a piece of medium. It's the same thing with your thoughts and language, and thoughts and language, basically, to transform that clump of concepts and ideas that you have in your brain and transfer it onto another person. Such a beautiful word.
Oh my god, Yulia, I can't.
Expressing myself brings me pleasure, and a lot of pleasure. And I'm very grateful for you providing the space for me to do that and experience so much satisfaction. There is a spring in my soul, and butterflies are flying in my brain, birds are singing Mozart, and I'm having the best time of my life.
Yes.
You're making my day, my week. I don't know. It's such a pleasure.
No, I feel that too. And thank you so much for coming. You're so smart. And the way that you talk is so interesting. And
Have
I'm so
me
glad you're here.
back.
Yes, I will.
Have
I
me
will.
back.
Okay, Yulia. Yeah, finish us off here.
Fuck off.
And until next time, bye.
I was in a day hospital, the psych ward, and for my last session with my therapist, I was like, oh yeah, I have so much anxiety if I talk about something important, like something like psychology, whatever, trauma or anything. What if I feel bad and FOMO that, oh yeah, we didn't talk about this. Oh yeah, we didn't talk about this. So I was like, no, I'm making a 30-minute video compilation of my best moments in drag, and I'm showing it to you, baby. And I was sitting there with my psychiatrist,
Okay.
watching my drag, killing babies. And she was just like,
Yeah, what was the reaction?
it was very nice. She was like, she's a psychiatrist, so she's a professional. She's like, oh, I see how important it is to you. I'm very glad that you share it. Blah, blah, blah. But she was like, yeah, cool, nice.
Okay.
It was like, there are people, they're paid to do their job, so I'm not expecting like, but what matters to me is my reaction. I was very happy to do that. I was very happy, but that video was so heavy. It says declined. Hey, my babies are rare.